Hello and welcome back to the Rect Capital channel. I'm Rect Capital and welcome to today's update on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and where we are in the market cycle. We're going to be talking about these market leaders, so let's dive right in and let's have a look at the analysis that I published yesterday evening. So the Bitcoin correction is most likely over. The beginning of a new bull trend is on the horizon. And it's very important to talk about a few signs as to why Bitcoin is so bullish at the moment. And one of those first signs is the fact that the long-term investor sentiment towards Bitcoin is very much bullish. And we can look at that in a bit more detail over here. And as you guys know, the 200-day exponential moving average is a important long-term gauge of investor sentiment. So whenever price is above the 200 daily EMA, everybody's bullish on Bitcoin, and if it's below it, people are bearish on it. So as we can see here, the long-term investor sentiment is very much skewing to the bullish side. That's a very positive sign for Bitcoin's price action going forward. In fact, in one of my previous updates on my Twitter, I was speaking about how a pullback to the 200 daily EMA was very much on the cards, and we see a beautiful retest of that 200 daily EMA as a support, springboarding it up to new yearly highs of 9,400. Now that's very good news for Bitcoin. It's very positive when we consider its price action. But let's zoom out, because if we're talking about the Bitcoin correction since 13,900 right over here, you know, the top in June, we've seen a 7-month downtrend ever since, and Bitcoin's been consolidating within this downtrending channel for, well, since June, 7 months. So it's a 7-month downtrending channel, and the best thing is that we've seen a candle close just below the resistance right over here. So that was 2 weeks ago. We saw this candle close just below the resistance, the black dotted diagonal resistance of this 7-month downtrending channel. So that was a bit of a scary sign, because as you can see in these blue circles, we've seen wicks, we've seen FOMO buyers get stuck and essentially lose out, because of course we'd see rejections later on every time we saw a long wick to the upside past this resistance. But on this occasion, 2 weeks ago, we saw this wick press past the resistance, and then we saw price thankfully dip briefly into the downtrending channel, but then close above the black diagonal resistance, turning it into a support. This was a successful retest, which allowed for that beautiful 10% rebound and continuation to new yearly highs of 9,400. So just by looking at the weekly, the correction is over. That's the end of the downtrend, because the downtrending channel has been breached. That's the end of the downtrend, as you can see right over here. So from now on, it's a case of what we can look for going into the future. But before we dive into the monthly, which is on the verge of a very important monthly close in of itself, I'd like to talk to you a bit about the live webinar about the Bitcoin halving and its effect on Bitcoin's price. I'm going to be hosting this live webinar in a week, so I'm very excited about it. If you've liked my Bitcoin halving article, you'll love this webinar. It's live on February 6th at 7 p.m. UTC. Don't miss it. It is only $4.99. Of course, this is the minimum price. You can give more if you'd like to support the channel, but of course I'd like this to be as available to my followers as possible. We're going to be looking at the halving and how it affects price, and I'm going to be including tidbits that I haven't been speaking about. This is going to be exclusive information to the people who are going to join the webinar. It's going to be amazing. I'm very much looking forward to it. Live on February 6th at 7 p.m. UTC. I hope to see you there. After all, the halving has proven itself to be the single most bullish catalyst for Bitcoin's price, and it happens every 4 years. So it would be very wise to be at least prepared for it, because it is a very important event for Bitcoin's price. Now that we've covered that, let's dive into the Bitcoin monthly time frame, because as I said, it is on the verge of a very important monthly candle close, and that candle close is right over here. It is dipping past the range high of 9,270. This is the resistance that has been plaguing Bitcoin for a while now, since around September, October. But of course, if we think about this monthly range from 770 to 9,270, we have to understand that the last time we saw a breakout past this range high in a new uptrend, we saw a new yearly high of 13,900. So of course, now that the Bitcoin correction is over, because remember, this is a downtrending channel and we've seen a breakout from that downtrending channel, that's the end of the downtrend. That means we're in the new uptrend for Bitcoin. So like I said, breaking past the range high resistance in the new uptrend has led to some massive gains already. And I'm very excited for this new uptrend to materialize and really blossom once we see that monthly close above the range high. And it is very close to doing so. I am quite excited about it. That's something I'm going to be looking for in the next few days as we carry on into the new month. And of course, on the daily, so far so good. This is what we want to see from the daily. We want to see this candle close, which has already happened, and we want to see a pullback to this range high to test this resistance as a new support so that I can springboard to higher price levels. So if the daily can hold above this range high and treat it as a support, if it continues to do that as we head into February, that's going to be a very bullish sign. That's going to be very good news for Bitcoin's price action going forward. And should that happen, new yearly highs will be very much on the cards, of course, because the Bitcoin halving is just over 100 days away. And that's, like I said, the single most bullish catalyst for Bitcoin's price. Because whenever we think about the Bitcoin halving, let's think about the exponential gains that occur after the halving. We've seen 3,400% gains after halving 1, and we've seen 4,080% gains after halving 2. So very much something to look forward to. You can either be a speculator or a spectator. The choice, as ever, is yours. But I'm very much on the speculator side. I won't be sitting out this potential rally for Bitcoin, because definitely the Bitcoin halving is something to look forward to for sure. So that's about it for the full analysis on Bitcoin that I published on my new website, rectcapital.co. You can definitely check it out. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to that analysis if you'd like to read it in your own time and focus on it a bit more. But of course, I published the analysis around 12 hours ago, so here are the new charts. Nothing's really changed on the higher time frame, right? Because of course the monthly is still very much in the balance. We're still seeing the monthly peak past this range high resistance. But since yesterday, we've seen the very first signs of an initial successful retest of the range high right over here. This is very positive. We want to see this continue into February, because if that happens, then the monthly close will happen and close above this range high resistance, turning it into a support. That will be very positive. On the 4-hour time frame, I don't want to focus too much on this lower time frame because this is probably going to change before I even have the time to publish this video on YouTube, but we are seeing some consolidation within this flagging structure, and if we see a breakout or at least a breach past this black diagonal resistance, then we'll see further upside for Bitcoin. But let's focus on Ethereum, something I haven't spoken about today, and I promised to at the very beginning of the video. The main thing here is to bear in mind that Ethereum has entered its weekly channel. The weekly channel from $160 to $360. This is a very important channel. It's been an important reference point for Ethereum's price action since, well, dating back all the way to 2017. We've seen this sort of 160, 360 move happen already twice in the past, and of course on this occasion as well. I was actually commenting on Twitter at rectcapital live when this was happening. Well, in my thread, I was talking about this every now and then, giving updates on it, and we saw that happen once again over here. So that's a good confirmation that these are levels of demand for Ethereum, and so far we've seen a weekly close into this channel. If we zoom in here in a bit, if we zoom in here, you see that weekly close right over here. We see a successful retest, testing $160 as support, and since then we've seen follow through for Ethereum. 10% to be exact. So that's very positive. As long as Ethereum maintains above 160, then this weekly channel is very much in play. But what we need to see from Ethereum going forward in the short term, so this is the daily time frame, we need to see it close above the 200 EMA, which it's already done, but we need it to hold support. And that's something it didn't do before in recent memory. So at the moment, it's very positive. We are seeing a successful test of this support. The 200 daily EMA is holding as a support at the moment. This could even turn into some flagging price action, very much like Bitcoin. We shall see. But what we need to bear in mind is that there has to be a bounce here, because if Ethereum lingers too long on that 200 EMA, that's going to signal weakness, because we've seen some bouncing right over here before. And even here, we didn't really see that big of a bounce. At this particular point, we saw a doji candle, so a bit of volatility, but not much follow through. And then we saw a breakdown. So that's something I'm going to be looking for. I wouldn't want to see a weak bounce, weak follow through. I like this price strength confirmation to continue. And if it does, then we can see follow through for Ethereum in the short term. And the same goes for Litecoin, really. Litecoin USD, it has to maintain this 200 daily EMA, because this is an important gauge of long-term investor sentiment. As long as price is above the 200 daily EMA, people are bullish on Litecoin. If it's below the 200 daily EMA, people are bearish on Litecoin. So very good. At the moment, we're seeing Bitcoin way above its 200 daily EMA, but we're seeing Ethereum and Litecoin try to maintain these EMAs, these 200 EMAs, as valuable supports. So very positive signs all around in terms of Bitcoin and the market leaders. And that's just about it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked the video, and of course subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like these in the future. I'm more than happy to do them as long as they're valuable to you. So please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.